The city lights of New York glittered like shattered diamonds against the velvet night sky, casting long shadows over the bustling streets below. Sophia Reed stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of her penthouse apartment, her hand gently resting on the swell of her belly. At 7 months pregnant, every movement felt like a reminder of the life growing inside her, a life that her ex-husband, Marcus, had discarded without a second glance. The divorce papers were still fresh, signed just 3 weeks ago, but the pain? That was etched into her soul like a scar that refused to heal. Sophia's phone buzzed on the marble countertop, pulling her from her reverie. She glanced at the screen, and her heart skipped a beat. It was an email from North Star Innovations, the tech company where Marcus had climbed the ranks to become the newly appointed chief operating officer. The subject line read, "Exclusive invitation, North Star Gala, celebrating excellence." Her fingers trembled as she opened it. "Dear Sophia Reed," it began in crisp, professional font. "We are delighted to extend this personal invitation to you for our annual gala, where we will honor the achievements of our leadership team, including the promotion of Marcus Langford to COO. Join us for an evening of celebration, networking, and inspiration at the Grand Plaza Hotel on Friday, October 15th at 7 p.m. Dress code, black tie. RSVP by October 10th. But it wasn't just any invitation. Attached was a handwritten note, scanned and digitized from Marcus himself. "Sophia, I hope you'll come. It's time we all moved forward. Best, Marcus." And below that, a postscript in a feminine scrawl, "Can't wait to see you there. Elena Vargas." Elena. The name hit Sophia like a punch to the gut. Elena Vargas, the 26-year-old marketing whiz who had stolen Marcus away. The woman who had whispered sweet nothings in his ear while Sophia was home, planning their future, decorating the nursery for the baby Marcus, had once sworn he'd protect with his life. Sophia remembered the day she found out, walking into their shared home early from a doctor's appointment, only to hear laughter from the bedroom. The sight of them tangled in the sheets, Marcus's wedding ring glinting on the nightstand like a forgotten promise. Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, but she blinked them away. She wasn't that woman anymore, the trusting wife who had given up her dreams for a man who saw her as just a homemaker. No, Sophia had secrets of her own. Secrets that Marcus and Elena could never imagine. North Star Innovations wasn't just any company. It was hers. Founded by her late father, Alexander Reed, a tech visionary who had built an empire from a garage startup. Upon his death 6 months ago, Sophia had inherited it all, every patent, every server farm, every employee contract. But she'd kept it quiet, managing from the shadows through a board of trustees while she grieved and rebuilt her life. The invitation wasn't a gesture of peace. Sophia knew that. It was a cruel joke, a way for Marcus and Elena to parade their happiness in front of her, to mock the pathetic ex-wife who was now alone and pregnant. Marcus had bragged about his promotion in their last bitter phone call, laughing when she congratulated him weakly. "See, Sophia? This is what ambition looks like. Not sitting at home baking cookies." Elena had chimed in on speakerphone, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "Oh, honey, you'll find someone who appreciates your domestic skills." Sophia's hand tightened around her phone. Rage bubbled up, mixing with the grief that had become her constant companion. She thought of the nights she'd cried herself to sleep, clutching the ultrasound photo of their baby girl, little Ava, kicking strongly despite the chaos around her. Marcus hadn't even asked about the pregnancy since he left. No check-ins, no support. Just divorce papers served cold via courier. But now? Now Sophia had power. Real power. In 2 days, at that gala, the MC would announce her as the new CEO, stepping out from behind the curtain to take the reins publicly. Marcus's promotion? It was all built on a foundation of sand, her sand. He'd risen through the ranks because her father's old allies had favored him, unaware of the affair brewing in conference rooms and late-night strategy sessions. Elena had fast-tracked his approvals in HR, bending rules for hotel reimbursements that funded their secret getaways to the Bahamas, while Sophia was dealing with morning sickness alone. Sophia paced the room, her bare feet sinking into the plush carpet. The apartment was a far cry from the modest house she'd shared with Marcus, a sprawling space with modern art on the walls, a private gym, and a nursery decked out in soft pinks and whites. She'd bought it with her inheritance, a symbol of her independence. But independence came at a cost. Flashbacks haunted her. Their wedding day, Marcus vowing eternal love under a canopy of stars. The first pregnancy test, positive, his eyes lighting up with joy. Then the slow erosion, his longer hours, her suspicions dismissed as hormonal paranoia. One memory burned brightest, the night he left. It was raining, thunder rumbling like an omen. Sophia had cooked his favorite meal, hoping to reconnect. But Marcus came home late, smelling of Elena's perfume, jasmine and deceit. "I can't do this anymore," he'd said, packing a bag while she begged him to stay. "You're holding me back, Sophia. Elena gets me, she's driven, exciting. You're just comfortable." He glanced at her belly. "The kid? We'll figure out custody later." And he walked out, leaving her crumpled on the floor, sobbing as contractions threatened too early. The doctor had put her on bed rest for a week. Alone. No family left, her mother gone years ago, her father freshly buried. Friends had drifted, siding with Marcus's charm. But in that isolation, Sophia had transformed. She dove into her father's business files, learning the intricacies of North Star's AI-driven software empire. She attended virtual board meetings incognito, her voice disguised through proxies. And she planned. Oh, how she planned. Now, staring at the invitation, Sophia felt a spark ignite. She would go. She would play their game and win. Typing quickly, she RSVP'd. "I'll be there. Looking forward to the celebrations." A small smile curved her lips. Let them laugh now. In 48 hours, their world would shatter. The next day dawned crisp and autumnal, leaves swirling in Central Park like confetti from a forgotten party. Sophia met her best friend, Lila, at a cozy cafe overlooking the park. Lila was the only one who knew the full truth, Sophia's inheritance, the plan for the gala. "Are you sure about this?" Lila asked, sipping her latte, her eyes wide with concern. "Confronting them publicly? It's risky. What if it backfires?" Sophia stirred her herbal tea, the steam rising like her resolve. "It won't. I've got the board on my side. Evidence of their fraud, those expense reports Elena approved for non-business trips. Emails proving the conflict of interest. Marcus thinks North Star is his playground. He doesn't know it's my kingdom." Lila nodded, but worry etched her face. "And emotionally? Seeing them together, it could break you." Sophia's hand went to her belly again, feeling Ava's gentle kick. "It already did. But this? This is me putting the pieces back together. Stronger. For her." She paused, memories flooding. "Remember when Marcus proposed? On that rooftop, fireworks exploding. He said I was his everything. Now, I'm nothing to him. But soon, he'll see I'm everything he never deserved." They talked for hours, Lila helping Sophia pick out a gown, a sleek, emerald green number that hugged her curves, accentuating her pregnancy as a badge of strength, not weakness. "You look like a queen," Lila said, tears in her eyes. "Go conquer." That evening, Sophia prepared alone. She stood before the mirror, applying makeup with steady hands, smoky eyes to hide the shadows of sleepless nights, red lips like blood drawn in battle. Her hair, once long and flowing at Marcus's preference, was now a sharp bob, framing her face like armor. She slipped on diamond earrings, her mother's heirlooms, and a necklace with a hidden locket containing her father's photo and Ava's ultrasound. As the clock ticked towards 7 p.m., Sophia's driver pulled up to the Grand Plaza Hotel. The building loomed grand, chandeliers visible through the glass facade, guests in tuxedos and gowns milling about. Her heart raced, but she breathed deeply, channeling her father's words, "Strength isn't in the storm, Sophia. It's in standing after it passes." Stepping out, the cool air kissed her skin. Valets nodded respectfully, unaware of the storm brewing inside. She entered the lobby, the scent of lilies and polished wood enveloping her. Whispers followed, curious glances at the elegant pregnant woman arriving solo. But no recognition yet. Why would there be? Marcus had kept her separate from his work life, introducing her only at obligatory events as my wife, the homemaker. The ballroom was a vision of opulence, crystal glasses clinking, string quartet playing softly, banners proclaiming North Star innovations, pioneering the future. And there, across the room, was Marcus. Tall, handsome in his tailored black tux, his arm around Elena, who sparkled in a silver gown that screamed victory. They laughed with a group of executives, Marcus's hand possessively on Elena's waist, the same way he'd once touched Sophia. Pain lanced through her, but she held her ground, grabbing a mocktail from a passing tray to steady her nerves. Marcus spotted her then, his eyes narrowing in surprise, then amusement. He whispered to Elena, who turned, her smile sharp as a knife. They excused themselves and approached, a predatory gleam in their eyes. Sophia, Marcus drawled, his voice laced with mock warmth. You made it. Didn't think you would. Elena leaned in, her perfume overwhelming. Yes, darling. So brave of you. Pregnancy suits you, though I imagine it's exhausting being alone. Sophia's grip tightened on her glass. Congratulations on the promotion, Marcus. And Elena, I hear you're rising fast too. Must be all those late nights. Marcus chuckled, oblivious to the barb. Thanks. North Star's my baby now. Built it from the ground up, well, almost. He puffed his chest. This gala's for me, really. The board's announcing my big projects tonight. Elena smirked. And we're so glad you could witness it. Closure, right? Sophia forced a smile, counting down internally. The MC would call her name in 20 minutes. Yes. Closure. As they walked away, laughing, Sophia's mind raced with flashbacks. Their first date, Marcus charming her at a coffee shop, promising adventures. Their honeymoon in Paris, whispers of forever. Then the cracks, his growing distance, her ignored pleas. The affair discovered via a hotel receipt. The fight where he yelled, "You're suffocating me," while she begged for truth. But now, truth was her weapon. She mingled subtly, overhearing whispers. Marcus is a star, but rumors about him and Elena. Shoo, don't rock the boat. 10 minutes left. Sophia's phone buzzed, a text from the board chair. Ready when you are. Remarks prepared? She replied, I'll improvise. The lights dimmed. The MC took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North Star's gala. Applause. Sophia's pulse thundered. First, let's honor our new COO, Marcus Langford. Marcus ascended, beaming, speech ready. Thank you. North Star is family. I've poured my soul into this. Sophia watched, her smile growing. Soon. But the MC continued, and now a special announcement. Following the passing of our founder, Alexander Reed, we introduce his successor, our new CEO, Sophia Reed. Gasps. Spotlight on her. Marcus's face drained of color. Elena froze. Sophia walked to the stage, head high. The room buzzed. She took the mic. Good evening. Some know me as Sophia Reed. Others as Marcus's ex-wife. But tonight, you know me as your CEO. Whispers exploded. Marcus stammered, what? This is a joke. No joke, Sophia said, voice steel. North Star is mine. Inherited from my father. And Marcus, Elena, your actions? Fraud, affairs on company time, misused funds. You're fired. Chaos ensued. Security moved in. Marcus pleaded, Sophia, wait. But she turned away, victorious yet aching. The applause started slow, then roared. The applause still echoed in Sophia Reed's ears long after the last guest had filtered out of the Grand Plaza ballroom. It wasn't the polite, obligatory clapping of corporate events. This had been raw, thunderous, almost defiant. Women in elegant gowns had wiped tears from their cheeks. Men in tuxedos had nodded with quiet respect, some even mouthing thank you as they passed her on the way out. A junior developer from the AI division had stopped long enough to whisper, I've been waiting for someone to call out the favoritism. You just did it for all of us. Sophia stood alone now near the edge of the stage. The spotlight finally dimmed, leaving only soft ambient lighting that made the empty ballroom feel cavernous and strangely intimate. Her emerald gown shimmered faintly, but the fabric suddenly felt heavier, as though it carried the weight of every word she'd spoken. She pressed a hand to her belly. Ava kicked once, firm and reassuring, like a tiny heartbeat saying, "We survived this round, Mom." But survival wasn't triumph. Not yet. Her phone vibrated in the small clutch she'd carried all evening. She pulled it out, expecting another congratulatory text from Lila or perhaps the board chair confirming logistics for tomorrow's emergency executive meeting. Instead, it was Marcus. Blocked numbers didn't stop determined ex-husbands, apparently. The message preview showed only the first line. "Sophia, please. We need to talk. This isn't fair." She swiped it away without opening the full text, then long pressed to block the new number. Her thumb hovered over delete conversation for a long moment. In the end, she let it sit there like a digital scar, proof that he still existed, still thought he had a right to her attention. A soft footfall approached from behind. It was Elena Vargas. Sophia turned slowly. The other woman looked smaller now, stripped of the confident glow she'd worn earlier. Mascara tracks stained her cheeks like black rivers. Her silver gown was wrinkled where she'd clutched it during the humiliation. Security had escorted her and Marcus to a side room to collect belongings, but Elena must have slipped away somehow. "You think this makes you win?" Elena's voice cracked, but the venom was still there, thinner now, more desperate. "You humiliated us in front of everyone. You destroyed his career, our careers, over what? Jealousy? Because he chose someone better." Sophia studied her. Really looked. The woman who'd once seemed untouchable now appeared fragile, almost pitiful. "Better," Sophia repeated softly. "You mean someone who didn't come with stretch marks, doctor's appointments, and the inconvenience of growing his child?" Elena's lip trembled. "He told me you were cold, distant, that the marriage was already dead long before I came along. Funny how memories rewrite themselves when the stakes change." Sophia took one step closer. "He left me while I was 7 months pregnant. Didn't even stay for the birth. While I was pushing our daughter into the world alone, he was probably toasting champagne with you in some hotel suite the company paid for." Elena's eyes darted away. "We didn't. Don't lie. I have the expense reports. The timestamps matched the nights he told me he was working late on the merger. The same nights you two booked suites at the peninsula under team strategy retreat." Silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Finally, Elena whispered, "What happens now?" "Now," Sophia tilted her head. "Now you both face consequences. HR violation hearings start Monday. The board has already frozen your accounts and access. Legal will be in touch about restitution for misused funds. And personally," she paused, letting the words land. "Personally, you get to live with knowing you helped destroy a family. A child will grow up asking why Daddy wasn't there. And you'll both carry that." Elena's shoulders shook. For a moment, Sophia thought she might collapse. Instead, the younger woman straightened, wiping her face with the back of her hand. "You'll regret this. Power like yours, it corrupts. You'll become just like the men you hate." Sophia smiled faintly, not cruel, just tired. "Maybe, but at least I'll become it on my own terms. Not riding someone else's coattails." Elena turned and walked away, heels clicking unevenly on the marble. The sound faded into the distance until Sophia was truly alone. She exhaled, long and shaky. The adrenaline that had carried her through the speech was draining fast, leaving nausea and bone-deep exhaustion in its wake. She needed to get home. Needed to hold Ava. Needed to remind herself why any of this mattered. Outside, the night air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of impending rain. Her driver waited by the black SUV, but Sophia waved him off. "I'll take a cab tonight. I need space." He hesitated but nodded. "Congratulations again, Ms. Reed. The whole team is proud." The word proud landed strangely. No one had said that to her in years, not since her father died. She managed a small smile and slipped into the back of a yellow taxi that pulled up moments later. The city blurred past the window, neon signs, late-night joggers in Central Park, couples walking arm in arm under street lamps. Sophia rested her head against the cool glass and let memories flood in unbidden. Flashback, 5 years earlier. She and Marcus had just moved into their first real apartment together in Brooklyn. Tiny, third-floor walk-up, windows that rattled in the wind. But it was theirs. That first night, they'd unpacked boxes until 2 a.m., laughing when a stack of books toppled and buried Marcus under paperbacks. He'd pulled her down onto the floor with him, kissing her until they were both breathless. "You're going to change the world someday," he'd murmured against her neck. "I can feel it." She'd laughed. "Me? I'm happy just building a home with you." He'd cupped her face then, serious. "Don't sell yourself short, sophomore. You're brilliant. North Star could use someone like you." She'd shaken her head. "That's Dad's world. I'm good with my design work, freelance. I like flexibility. Especially if, we start a family soon." His eyes had softened. "Yeah, a family. Our little future." They'd made love on the bare mattress that night, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes, dreaming aloud about baby names and backyard barbecues and growing old together in a house with a porch swing. How had it unraveled so completely? Another memory. The day she told him she was pregnant. She'd bought the test on a whim after feeling queasy for a week. 2 pink lines appeared almost instantly. She'd stared at them for 10 full minutes before calling him at work. He'd rushed home, eyes shining. "We're having a baby?" He dropped to his knees, pressed his ear to her still flat stomach. "Hey in there. It's Daddy." They'd cried together, happy tears. Planned. Dreamed bigger. Then slowly, insidiously, things shifted. Late nights became routine. Big project. Important client. Can't miss this deadline. She'd ignored the perfume on his collar at first. Told herself she was paranoid. Pregnancy hormones, right? Until the hotel receipt fell out of his jacket pocket. She'd confronted him that night. He denied it first, then admitted a mistake, then blamed her. "You changed after the pregnancy news. You're always tired. Always focused on the baby." "I needed someone who still saw me." The words had cut deeper than any affair ever could. She'd begged him to stay. Offered counseling. Offered anything. He'd packed a bag anyway. Left her sobbing on the kitchen floor while rain hammered the windows. The taxi pulled up to her building. Sophia paid, thanked the driver, and rode the elevator in silence. When the doors opened to her penthouse, the soft nightlight from the nursery spilled into the hallway. Lila was waiting, curled on the couch with a cup of tea. She'd let herself in with the spare key. "You okay?" Lila asked immediately, standing. Sophia shook her head, then nodded, then burst into tears. Lila pulled her into a hug without another word. They sat like that for nearly an hour, Sophia crying out months of grief, rage, betrayal. Lila just holding her, murmuring, "You did what you had to. You protected yourself. You protected Ava." When the sobs finally eased, Sophia pulled back, wiping her face. "It doesn't feel like victory. It feels empty." Lila nodded. Revenge rarely fills the hole they left, but it stops them from digging it deeper. Sophia glanced toward the nursery. "I need to see her." Ava was asleep on her stomach, tiny bottom in the air, one fist tucked under her chin. Sophia leaned over the crib railing and breathed in the sweet baby scent, milk, powder, innocence. "I did it for you," she whispered. "So no one ever makes you feel small. So you grow up knowing your worth isn't negotiable." Ava stirred, let out a sleepy sigh, and settled again. Sophia stayed there until her legs ached, watching her daughter's chest rise and fall. Eventually she returned to the living room. Lila had made fresh tea. "Tomorrow's going to be chaos," Lila said. "Media's already buzzing. Pregnant ex-wife takes over tech empire, fires cheating husband. It's trending." Sophia groaned. "Great. Just what I wanted, more headlines. But you're trending for strength. For standing up. Women are sharing their stories under the clips. You're becoming a symbol." The idea terrified Sophia. She wasn't ready to be anyone's hero. She was barely holding herself together. Still, she opened her phone. Notifications flooded in LinkedIn messages from old colleagues, Emails from reporters, texts from distant cousins she'd forgotten she had. One message caught her eye. From an unknown number, but the area code was her father's old office. Ms. Reed, your father would have handled tonight differently, perhaps more quietly. But he always said you had his fire when pushed. The board stands with you 100%. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp, first strategy session as public CEO. We've prepared dossiers on the next quarter. Also, legal has already filed notices against Carter and Vargas. Proud to serve under you. Margaret Ellis, Chief of Staff. Sophia stared at the words. Proud to serve under you. She set the phone down and looked at Lila. I think I have to do this. Really do this. Not just for revenge. For the company. For the people who believed in Dad. For Ava's future. Lila smiled softly. Then do it. But promise me one thing. Anything. Don't lose yourself in the process. The woman who loved fiercely, who dreamed quietly, who built a home, she's still in there. Don't let the crown crush her. Sophia nodded, throat tight. I won't. That night, she slept fitfully, dreams tangled with memories. Marcus laughing at their wedding. Marcus walking away in the rain. Marcus's face draining of color on stage. And through it all, Ava's tiny kicks, grounding her. Morning came too soon. Sophia dressed carefully, tailored black blazer over a cream silk blouse, wide-legged trousers that accommodated her belly, low heels for comfort. Hair pulled into a sleek ponytail. Minimal makeup. Power, not performance. The North Star headquarters occupied the top 15 floors of a gleaming glass tower in Midtown. When Sophia stepped off the private elevator at 8:45, the lobby was already buzzing. Employees whispered, glanced at their phones, then at her. Some offered tentative smiles. Others looked away quickly, unsure. Margaret Ellis met her at the executive floor reception. They're waiting in conference room A, Margaret said. Full C-suite plus key VPs. Media statement is drafted, your call on tone. Sophia nodded. I'll read it first. Inside the conference room, 20 faces turned toward her. Some shocked. Some approving. A few openly wary. She took her place at the head of the table, her father's old chair. Good morning, she began. Voice steady. I know last night was dramatic. But drama doesn't change facts. North Star is mine now. My father's legacy. And I intend to honor it. She paused, meeting eyes around the room. Yesterday I removed 2 people who violated trust, policy, and basic human decency. That was personal, but the principle wasn't. From today forward, we operate on merit, integrity, transparency. No more favoritism. No more closed-door deals. No more looking the other way. A murmur of agreement rippled through the group. Now, she continued, let's talk about the future. Not revenge. Growth. The meeting stretched 3 hours. They reviewed Q4 projections, AI patent disputes, competitor threats. Sophia listened more than she spoke at first, absorbing, assessing. When she did contribute, questions were sharp, decisions decisive. By noon, the room felt different. Lighter. Hopeful. As people filed out, one VP lingered, Daniel Park, head of engineering. He'd been with the company since the startup days. Your father hired me when I was 23 and broke, he said quietly. He believed in second chances. But he also believed in consequences. Sophia met his gaze. I remember you. You built the first prototype in his garage. Daniel smiled. He talked about you all the time. Said you had his mind and your mother's heart. Tears pricked Sophia's eyes. I miss him. We all do. Daniel hesitated. If you need anything, someone to talk to, not just about code, I'm here. Thank you. Alone again, Sophia walked to the corner office, her office now. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. She stood there a long time, hand on her belly. Ava kicked again. Sophia whispered, we're building something new, baby. Something unbreakable. But deep down, she knew the war wasn't over. Marcus wouldn't go quietly. Elena wouldn't fade into obscurity. And the media storm was only beginning. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. Pregnant CEO fires ex-husband in viral gala takedown. Hero or villain? She clicked the article. Comments were split, half cheering, half accusing her of abusing power. Sophia closed her eyes. This was just the start. The days following the gala blurred into a relentless storm of headlines, boardroom battles, and sleepless nights. Sophia Reed's name was everywhere. Tabloids screamed variations of the same story. Pregnant tech heiress ousts cheating ex in dramatic CEO takeover, from betrayed wife to billion-dollar boss. Sophia Reed's revenge goes viral, North Star's new era, but at what personal cost? Social media exploded with clips from the gala speech, grainy phone footage of Marcus's face turning ashen, Elena's mascara-streaked collapse, Sophia's steady voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. Hashtags trended. Sophia scrolled through them in the quiet hours before dawn, Ava sleeping soundly in the next room. Each notification felt like a double-edged sword, validation from strangers who saw her as a symbol of strength, but also a reminder that her deepest wounds were now public entertainment. Comments ranged from empowering, queen behavior, fire to vicious, she's just bitter because he upgraded, pathetic power trip. She read them all, letting the words sink in, then closed the app. No point in arguing with the internet. At North Star headquarters, the atmosphere had shifted from shock to cautious optimism. Employees who once whispered about Marcus's golden boy status now spoke in hushed, respectful tones about Sophia. The first week as public CEO was a whirlwind, endless meetings, policy reviews, damage control. Margaret Ellis proved invaluable, organizing press briefings, filtering interview requests, shielding Sophia from the most invasive reporters. But the real battles were internal. One afternoon, during a strategy session on AI ethics protocols, Sophia's phone buzzed insistently. She glanced down Marcus again, this time via email since numbers were blocked. Subject: we need to talk about Ava. She's my daughter too. Sophia's stomach twisted. She hadn't told him Ava's name publicly, but somehow he'd found out. Probably through mutual friends or old contacts. She deleted the email without replying, but the words lingered like smoke. That evening, back in the penthouse, she sat on the nursery floor with Ava in her lap. The baby cooed, grabbing at Sophia's necklace, the one with her father's photo inside. Sophia kissed the top of Ava's soft head. He doesn't get to claim you now, sweet girl. Not after everything. Lila arrived with takeout, Thai, extra spicy, Sophia's comfort food. They ate on the couch while Ava played in her bouncer. You've been avoiding the press, Lila observed. They're clamoring for an exclusive. The full story from the woman who took down her cheating ex. Sophia shook her head. I don't want to relive it for clicks. The truth is out. Let them speculate. But people are inspired by you, Lila pressed gently. Women messaging you on LinkedIn, sharing their own stories. You're not just a CEO, you're a voice. Sophia stared at her plate. I'm barely holding it together, Lila. Every time I close my eyes, I see his face on that stage. The pleading. And part of me still hurts for the man he used to be. Lila reached over, squeezed her hand. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. But you don't owe him forgiveness. Or anyone else an explanation. Sophia nodded, but doubt gnawed at her. Was this power worth the emptiness? The company was thriving, stock up 8% since the announcement, but her heart felt hollowed out. The next morning brought the first major crisis. Margaret knocked urgently on Sophia's office door. Legal just got served. Marcus and Elena are filing a wrongful termination suit. They're claiming discrimination, emotional distress, and that your public firing was retaliatory and defamatory. Sophia leaned back in her chair, exhaling slowly. Of course they are. We have ironclad evidence, expense fraud, HR violations, conflict of interest documented over months. But they're spinning it as a scorned ex-wife abusing power. The narrative could hurt investor confidence if it drags on. Sophia rubbed her temples. Call the lawyers. I want every document triple-checked. And prepare a counterstatement. No personal attacks, just facts. As Margaret left, Sophia stood and walked to the window. The city sprawled below, indifferent. She placed a hand on her belly. Ava was active today, little kicks like Morse code. Keep going, Mom. Flashback, 2 years earlier. Marcus had come home late again, reeking of whiskey and another woman's perfume. Sophia waited in the living room, lights low, heart hammering. "You're late," she said quietly. "Big client dinner. You know how it is." He loosened his tie, avoiding her eyes. "I smelled jasmine on your shirt last week." "The same as Elena's." He froze, then laughed short, sharp. "Paranoid much? Pregnancy brain?" "I saw the messages. On your phone. You left it unlocked." His face hardened. "You went through my phone?" "You left it on the counter." It lit up with her name. Silence stretched, ugly and thick. "Finally," he sighed. "It was a mistake. One time. I was stressed. The promotion was slipping away. One time." Sophia's voice cracked. "You've been distant for months." He stepped closer, tried to touch her arm. She flinched back. "I'm sorry," he said, eyes pleading. "I love you. We're having a baby. Let's not throw everything away." She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. So she did for a while. Counseling sessions, promises, date nights. But the trust was fractured. Every late night, every unexplained text reopened the wound. Then came the final straw, another hotel receipt. This time, he didn't deny it. "I can't pretend anymore," he said one rainy evening. "Elena, she makes me feel alive. You're just safe, predictable." Sophia had stood there, 8 months pregnant, water dripping from his coat onto the floor like tears. "Get out," she'd whispered. He'd left without another word. Back in the present, Sophia blinked away the memory. Her phone rang, unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something made her answer. "Sophia?" Marcus's voice, raw and broken. "Please don't hang up." She gripped the phone tighter. "What do you want?" "I want to see my daughter. I want to apologize. Properly. Not through lawyers. You had your chance. For months. Years. I was wrong. I know that now. Seeing you up there, it hit me. Everything I lost." Sophia closed her eyes. "You lost it when you chose her over us. When you walked out while I was in labor alone." Silence on his end. Then, softly, "I was scared. Fatherhood terrified me. I thought, if I ran, it'd be easier. It wasn't easier for me. Or for Ava. Let me make it right. Coffee. Neutral place. Just talk." Sophia hesitated. Part of her, the part that still remembered his laugh, his hand on her belly feeling kicks, wanted closure. The other part screamed no. "I'll think about it," she said finally. "But if this is a ploy for the lawsuit." "It's not. I swear." She hung up. That night, she couldn't sleep. Ava fussed, teething early. Sophia rocked her for hours, humming old lullabies her mother used to sing. As dawn broke, she made a decision. She texted Marcus one line, "Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Central Park bench near the Bethesda fountain. Bring no lawyers. No Elena." The meeting was surreal. Marcus arrived early, looking haggard, dark circles, rumpled coat, no trace of the confident executive. He stood when he saw her approach, eyes flicking to her belly, no longer pregnant, but carrying the invisible weight. "Sophia," he breathed. "Thank you for coming." She sat, keeping distance. "Talk." He sat too, hands clasped between knees. "I don't expect forgiveness. I need you to know I'm sorry. Truly. I destroyed us. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me." Sophia watched joggers pass, leaves swirling. "Why no? Because you lost your job? Your reputation? Because I lost you. And her." He glanced toward where Ava would be if she'd brought her. "I keep thinking about what kind of father I could have been. Should have been. You could have been there. In the delivery room. Holding my hand. Seeing her first breath." Tears filled his eyes. "I know. I was a coward." They sat in silence for long minutes. Finally, Sophia spoke. "The lawsuit. Drop it. Accept the termination. Walk away quietly. For Ava's sake, if you ever cared at all." He nodded slowly. "I will. I'll tell the lawyers today." "And Elena?" "She's gone. Moved back to California. We ended it after the gala. It was never real. Not like us." Sophia felt a pang, pity, maybe anger. It was real enough to destroy everything. "I know." She stood. "This doesn't change anything. No visits. No contact unless through lawyers for child support. Which you'll pay. On time. Every month. He rose too. I understand. As she walked away, he called softly Sophia. She paused but didn't turn. I loved you once. Truly. I'm sorry I forgot how. She kept walking. Back at the office, she felt lighter somehow. Not healed, never fully, but unburdened. The lawsuit was dropped the next week. Public statements followed, Marcus accepting responsibility, issuing a vague apology for professional misconduct. Elena stayed silent. North Star stabilized. Sophia announced new initiatives, maternity policies, ethics training, women in tech scholarships named after her father. The company flourished, but personal healing was slower. One evening, months later, Sophia sat on her balcony overlooking the city. Ava, now crawling, played at her feet with blocks. Her phone buzzed, a text from an old college friend. Saw you on the cover of Forbes. The unbreakable CEO. Proud of you. Sophia smiled faintly. Attached was the article, her photo, poised and powerful, with the headline Sophia Reed, From Heartbreak to Headquarters, How One Woman Reclaimed Her Legacy. She read it slowly. Quotes from employees praising her leadership. A sidebar on her father's vision. No mention of Marcus or Elena, her choice. Ava tugged at her pant leg, babbling, Mama. Sophia scooped her up, kissed her chubby cheek. We're okay, baby. More than okay. In the distance, the city lights twinkled like stars fallen to earth. Sophia felt something shift inside her, not revenge's hollow victory, but quiet strength. The kind built from ashes. She whispered to Ava, Your grandpa would be proud. And so am I. The road ahead would still have storms, parenting alone, leading an empire, healing old wounds. But for the first time, Sophia believed she could weather them. Not as the betrayed wife. Not as the vengeful CEO. As herself, whole, fierce, unbreakable.